Hari Om. This forum of ours, Spiritual Adventurers, is a very unique place where we share information and we are learning from each other. It's a truly symbiotic forum. There's no particular speaker and the people who are listening, listeners. So I was thinking, please mute yourselves. So
भास्कर आवाज कमी येतोय.
आवाज कमी येतोय का? एक मिनिट. प्रभा का? नाही चित्रा. ओके. आता ऐकू येतंय का?
हो आता येत आहे.
ठीक आहे. ओके. प्लीज म्यूट yourself. Sir, I was thinking what would be the most appropriate prayer or Mangalacharan to start this session of ours, and we thought it should be symbiotic in nature. So we will start with a very well-known prayer, and Suman will join me in this. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All of you would know the meaning, but still, let's go over what it really means. Om is representative of the Parabrahma, Paramatma. Saha and now is the two of us, and Saha is together. Av means to protect or to move. Avatu is a wish that may we be protected, may we move together and be protected. Bhuj is to eat, and from that root comes bhunaktu, means may we eat or relish, enjoy. May both of us enjoy, relish, or eat. Virya means strength, power, vigor. Kr is the root, and from where we get the derivative karavavahai. May we do, may we perform. And do what then? Tejasvin is filled with brilliance. Dhi, the root dhi is study or contemplate, and adhita means what has been studied. Astu, may what has been studied be filled with brilliance. Ma is a negation, and dvisha is hate, with visha is hostility, and with vishavahai, the derivative, means may it be hateful. But before that, it is coupled with a negative, that is ma, may it not be hateful. So let our progress be together, let us be protected, let us perform with brilliance, and let it all bring us Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let it free us from the three kinds of tribulations, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, and Adhyatmika. Adi Bhautika meaning troubles from our physical world, Adi Daivika from unseen forces, acts of God, and Adhyatmika from our own self. Most of our problems are from our own self. So let us be free from all this. With that, let us move on to the Purusha Sukta. The Purusha Sukta, for me, being a gunner from artillery, is just like the motto of artillery, Sarvatra. It is everywhere. It is in all the four Vedas. It is in the Shatapatha Brahmana. It is in the Apastamba Shrauta Sutra. And it is many, many texts. Every religious ceremony of the Sanatan Dharma includes recitation of the Purusha Sukta. It is a part of the scriptures that are recommended to be recited regularly. The shloka says, Swashakhopanishad Gita Vishnor Nama Sahasrakam Rudram cha Paurusham Suktam Nityam avartayet Buddha. The Buddha, that means the learned people, the people who know what they should always constantly, repeatedly study and read and recite is Swashakhopanishad, the Upanishad that belongs to their particular Shakha, the Bhagavad Gita, the thousand names of Vishnu, Rudram. Rudram has got a part called Namaka and Chamaka. Namak is, praising Rudra with various names and adjectives, which have got 11 anuvaks. And then Chamaka is, asking favors from the Rudra. Again, it has got 11 anuvaks, or 11 paragraphs. Next is Paurusham Suktam. There is a Purusha Sukta. Nityam avartayet. If we repeatedly, constantly study this, and who does this? The Buddha, the people, well-knowing people, they do this. So this is what Purusha Sukta is recommended to be done. Now, in my study of this Purusha Sukta, I have basically depended on the lectures of a famous Madhva scholar, Dr. Bannanjay Govindacharya. Of course, there are other books which I'll be sharing with you at the end of our sessions. But Dr. Bannanjay Govindacharya's exposition of Purusha Sukta is phenomenal. It is in Kannada, and having the advantage of knowing Kannada, I have been able to use that in the preparation for this series of lectures. Now, to get a feel of what exactly Purusha Sukta is, what it sounds like, let me recite the first two verses of Purusha Sukta, so that will get us into the feel of the Sukta itself. Sahasrashirša Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishvato Vrutva Atyatishthad Dashangulam Purusha evedagum sarvam yadbhutam yaccha bhavyam utamrutatva seshana yadanne natirohati. You would have noticed that there are swara marks in the text here. In our earlier sessions, we have seen the importance of using the swaras in recitation of mantra. There are udatta, anudatta, swarita, and dirgha swarita swaras, which should be used appropriately. Otherwise, even the meaning changes. We have gone into the details of this earlier, so we won't go into it again. The padapatha and swara. Padapatha means when a composite word is broken up conveniently for recitation, that is padapatha. And when you do the uchar as exactly given in the Vedas, that is Samhita Patha. The Samhita Patha cannot be altered, but Pada Patha can be done for convenience and understanding. The Pada Patha and Swara differ from each of the Vedas and each of the Shakhas. So what we are using here is the Rigveda version of the Purusha Sukta. Now, every jiva wants to experience infinite happiness. In our attempt to answer the question about the cause of our unhappiness and misery, we have often unknowingly or knowingly pondered over questions like, from where has all this come? Why is there a universe at all? Why am I here? So, our inquiry concerns three things: the creation, the creator, and the self. These three aspects are the topics of consideration in every philosophy. They are also known as the Tattvatrayi, consisting of the Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. The nature of these three elements and their existence or non-existence and their relations with each other are different in every school of thought. The Purusha Sukta is the oldest hymn in praise of this universal creator. And As I was speaking of various schools of thought, Purusha Sukta is one hymn which is used in the people who follow the Dvaita philosophy, those who follow the Advaita, those who follow the Vishishtadvaita, those and within these schools, those who follow the Rigveda, Yajurveda, Shukla, or Krishna, either of them. So all of them follow the owe allegiance to Purusha Sukta. Now the Purusha Sukta speaks about all three tattvas, Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara, as it explains the universal being and the creation that comes through him. The word Suktam is very conveniently understood as Su means good and Uktam means utterance. So it is a good utterance, it is a praise of the universal being called Purusha. This Sukta consists of 16 mantras. Now, I am not using the word shloka, I may by mistake use it. Shlokas are slightly different. The ruchas from Rigveda or any Veda are called mantras. So it consists of 16 mantras. There is another famous sukta in the Rigveda, the Nasadiya Sukta, which again deals with the topic of creation. Now, many of you would have heard it. It says, Nasadin, Nasadasino Sadasi Tadanim Nasid Rajono Vyoma Paroyata Kima Variha Kuhakasya Sharman Nabha Kimasid Gahanam Gabhiram. Now, what does this mean? It means right at the beginning, they're using the word then for that. Then there was neither existence nor non existence. There was neither air then, nor even the space beyond it. Now, you must understand this. Most of us, when we understand, we feel there was nothing, we feel it is an empty space. We feel between two walls, there is nothing, there is space. There is not nothingness. Even that space did not exist at the beginning. And that's exactly what the theory of Big Bang tells us today. The space evolved after the Big Bang. It is a creation of something else. Now, what covered it? Where was it? In whose keeping was it? Was there even a cosmic fluid in those unfathomed depths? This is what the question the Vedic rishis have asked in the beginning of
गेले माझं कसं
in the Nasadiya Sukta. So it is called the Nasadiya Sukta because it starts with the words na asit, na asat asit, now, na sat asit tadanim. Tadanim means then. Then there was neither sat nor asat. There was neither, existence nor non-existence. That is the reason it is called the Nasadiya Sukta. The Purusha Sukta has always been a topic of discussion on our social media, on the TV debates, and where many people have castigated it. They, cast aspersions on it and say it is a casteist hymn. And they often quote one mantra from the Purusha Sukta, which is here, which says, Brahmanosya mukhamasit bahu rajanya krita uru tadasya yadvaishya padabhyam shudro ajayata. On the face of it, it just means the Brahmins where his mouth, the Kshatriyas were his arms, the thighs were his Vaishya, where is the Vaishya, and the Shudras were his feet. So this has been the widely misunderstood mantra and castigated over all the TV debates because the context in which it is said and what it really means has not been understood by many people. And we'll go into the details of this misinterpretation and the real meaning as we go along in the Purusha Sukta. The word Purusha is colloquially meant to represent the male of the species, especially the human species. The opening slide, which had a picture of the Virat Purusha Swarup of the Purusha with huge mustaches and a formidable male form. It may depict only a small aspect of the Purusha, but surely it is not an accurate depiction. So we come to the question, what exactly is the Purusha, or who is the Purusha? Where is he? What does it do? So this word Purusha is also used in the Sikh community in their prayers, in the Sikh Panth, to proclaim that this is the ultimate and the only reality that is the cause of everything else. They say, Ik Onkar, Satnam, Karta Purkh, Nirbhav, Nirvair, Akal Murat. There is only one Onkar, which is the real name and which is the real Purakh, and that is Nirbhav, fearless. That is Nirvair. It doesn't have any enmity, and Akal, timeless. So that is the true reality. That is what the Sikh Panth tells us. And Bhagavad Gita doesn't tell us any different. It says, Om Ityekaksharam Brahma Vyaharanmam Anusmara. So Om is the only Brahman. Vyahara means utter it and remember me. That exactly what Bhagavad Gita tells us. When we studied the Vishnu Sahasranama, we have seen many interpretations of the word Purusha. One interpretation which we saw is Purau Shete iti Purushaha, one who dwells in a city. Purau, Pura is city, is Purusha. Now, what is this city? He is the indweller, he is the Antaryami. So, he is the Purusha. Our physical body is the Navadvara Pura, city of 9 gates, and the Antaryami who resides inside is really called the Purusha. Another explanation is Purusha Samjne Shariresmin Shayana Purusho Hari. An individual called Purusha, he is in your Sharira. And who is he? He is the Purusha Hari who is sleeping within us, who is dormant within us. Purusha Samjne Shariresmin Shayana Purusho Hari. Some people also say that this body of ours has got actually 11 gates, out of which 2 are closed. The Nabhi or the umbilical is closed when we are born, and the Brahma Randra remains closed always and opens up at the time of our death if we have done some good deeds. Another interpretation of the word Purusha comes from the word from Sanskrit root pru, Pru meaning to provide, to protect, to fill, to bestow. Even the word to husband in English means to husbanding of resources. Animal husbandry, it means to gather things, provide for your family. So the word Purusha comes from Pru, one who provides all the things for us, who protects us. So that is Pru. That is the root of the word Purusha. Now, another interpretation of the word Purusha is Purnatva Purusha, that which is complete and not limited by space, time, and causation is Purna. So, Purusha Sukta is the praise of that being, Purusha, from whom the complete universe is derived. It is something like the Genesis in the Old Testament and spells out the theory of creation. The concept of Purusha is explained in the 3rd, 9th, and 15th Adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. As a matter of fact, the Purushottama Yoga is a mirror image of the Purusha Sukta, I would say. Now let us see what it says. Dvavimau Purushau Loke Ksharascha Kshara Evacha Kshara Sarvani Bhutani Kutastho Kshara Uchate. It says there are 2 kinds of Purusha or selves, the perishable called Kshara and the imperishable called Akshara. And what does the second line say? Kshara Sarvani Bhutani. All beings are perishable, they are Kshara. And what is imperishable? That is Kutastha, Nitya, who is inside. He is Kutastha. That is Nitya. Okay. So, distinct from these two is the supreme being who is the supreme self in the Vedas. This is said in another shloka of Bhagavad Gita, which says, apart from Kshara and Akshara, distinct from these two, there is one more. Uttama Purushastvanya Paramatmetyudarhata Yo Lokatrayama Vishya Vibhartya Vyaya Ishvaraha. Vibhartya means pervade, to support. Now, he pervades the Triloka and he supports it. And Ishwaraha, the Sanskrit root, dhatu ish means to control. Ishwaraha means one who controls, who has control of everything here. So he is Ishwaraha. Now, the question that comes now is, does such an entity called the Purusha really exist? And the answer appears quite simple. Uh, if I exist, then the Purusha from whom all this comes also exists. If there is a pot, then there should also be a potter. And for those people who have been following Ghulam Ali and his ghazals, he puts it very simply. He says, "Har saas ye कहती hai, hum hai to khuda bhi hai." So if I am there, God has to be there. The Purusha has to be there. The existence of the Purusha cannot be questioned. So we will say, okay, he is there, but where is this Purusha? Being Antaryami, he is in our very heart. The Upanishads say, Angushta Matra Purushantaratma Sada Jananam Hridaye Sannivishta. That is what the Kathopanishad tells us. It is because of him our prana is active. It is he who keeps this physical body alive. The body, made up of physical matter, is able to function only because of the prana, and prana is active only because the Purusha is residing as in Antaryami. So the Purusha actually resides in everything and everyone. Now, how does one know that the Purusha is really in everyone and everything? Again, we go to Bhagavad Gita, Adhyaya 7 and Adhyaya 15. It says, Mamaimosho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. My Ansha is in every Jiva of this loka. And it is Sanatana. It is very, very old, right from the beginning that he says. And in 15th Adhyaya, what does he say? Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smrutir jnanam apohanam cha. So, there is one Purusha who is in everything. Now, somebody will ask one very interesting question. Okay, you said there is a Purusha, agreed, and now you are saying this Purusha resides in every entity everywhere in this universe. So, does it mean that one Purusha has been fragmented into small bits into each of us, into each everything? Is there a small bit of Purusha in each of us? Is that the question? Now, this question is not really good, not really true. Far from it, the Purusha is Paripurna. If I divide infinity, it still remains infinity. And he is always and everywhere. Yet he is all pervasive. That is how we say Purnamada, the Purusha, and Purnamidam, all that he pervades. Wherever he is, that is Purnamidam. That is the true essence of Purnamada, Purnamidam. So he is not in fragments. Today we understand that matter exhibits both particle and wave nature. You know, a lot of earlier people used to think light travels like waves. Then people say it travels like particles. And but then they said not only light, everything in nature is like that. There is a wave-particle duality. Now, this concept was brought by a scientist called de Broglie, and it is called de Broglie hypothesis, and it came long ago, 1924. Now, due to the wave nature, there is no fixed location of the particle. We just can't imagine there's one electron. It has a wave nature. It is everywhere and anywhere till you try to fix it. When we try to fix it, it is there. This concept of everywhere and here now is so nicely explained in the stories from our Purana. Now, what does that story say? Hiranyakashipu asked his son Prahlada, where is this Narayan whose name you are always chanting? Prahlada replies, he is everywhere. To ridicule Prahlada, Hiranyakashipu asks him, is he in this pillar? Now he has made the mistake of fixing him. Now he says, when Prahlad answers in the affirmative, He is indeed in that pillar. Hiranyakashipu kicks and breaks that pillar, and he has fixed. Narayana comes like Narasimha out of that pillar and takes care of Hiranyakashipu. So it is a concept of wave particle duality that has been expressed in our Puranas, which we understand in modern science today. Now, not only is he everywhere, but he is in our very heart. But he is the very cause and seed of everything. He is the intellect of the intelligent and the brilliance of the bright. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvinamaham. So the Purusha is the universal being from whom everything has come. He is the cause of everything and is everywhere and right in our heart. This description of the Purusha, who is none but Narayana himself, is described in the very first shloka of Vishnu Sahasranam. We have already studied Vishnu Sahasranam in our earlier sessions. But just to recapitulate, Om Vishwam Vishnurvashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krut Bhuta Bhrudbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavana. The very first name of Vishnu is Vishwam. It indicates that he is the universe itself and everything that is there in the universe. The name Vishnu, it immediately shows the minutest character of Vishnu. It indicates that it spreads out and enters into everything, creeps into everything, even into our heart. The third Vashatkara is the declaration Vaushat, which it is uttered when giving Ahuti. The relevance of this will be clear to us when we see that Purusha is actually the Yajna, the Srushti Yajna from where this whole universe has come. Purusha is the one who performs the Yajna. It is the Ahuti of the Yajna. It is the Yajna itself from where our whole universal has come into being. So Vashatkara also is indicative of this. So we see very close linkages between Bhagavad Gita, the Purusha Sukta, and the Vishnu Sahasranama, all those things which we enumerated earlier. Now, Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu means he is the master of all that was and that what is now and what will come in the future. In one stroke, Purusha covers the entire range of existence from the subatomic to the infinite. And that is how Shweta Shvataropanishad describes him as Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atma Guhayam Nihitosya Janto. He is in the smallest, he is smaller than the atom, and the biggest is bigger than anything else. A very popular abhang of Tukaram also people know. Anuraniya Thokada Tuka Akasha Evadha. Very aptly brings out the nature of the Purusha from the minutest to the widest. Now, this is there are few more shlokas which explain the nature of the Purusha. Now, this is from the Kathopanishad. It says, Indriyebhyah para hyartha artebhyascha param mana manasastu para buddhir buddher atma man para. It says, इंद्रियों से उच्चतर है विषय, उनके विषय, उन विषयों इंद्रियों के विषय से उच्चतर है मन, मन से उच्च है बुद्धि और बुद्धि से उच्च है महान आत्मा. Now, what it further says, Mahat Paramam Vyaktam Avyaktat Purushah Para Purushanna Param Kinchit Sakashtha Sa Paragati. So, उस महान आत्मा से उच्चतर है अव्यक्त, अनमैनिफेस्टेड. अव्यक्त से ऊपर है पुरुष, पुरुष से उच्चतर कुछ भी नहीं है. So Purush is the ultimate. This is what even the Kathopanishad says. वही सत्ता की पराकाष्ठा है. That is the beginning of the journey and the end of our journey also. That is the Parama Laksha. Now some of you might have noticed the first shloka. A similar shloka is also there in the Bhagavad Gita. It says, Indriyani paranya hurindriyebhyah param mana. Manasastu para buddhir buddhe parasastu sa. So with that introduction about the Purusha, let us now come back to Purusha Sukta. The Purusha Sukta, I said, is in all Vedas. The Purusha Sukta version in the Rig Veda has got 16 mantras. The version in Krishna Yajurveda has 18 mantras, and the one in the Shukla Yajurveda has
ठीक है
got
भाई
20. Please mute.
कॅमेरा चालू कर चालू आहे का?
Please mute yourself. And the version in Shukla Yajurveda has got 23 mantras. Samaveda uses only 5 mantras for Samagana, though it has got 16 mantras exactly like Rigveda, but traditionally they use only 5 for Samagana. Now there is a lot of symbolism attached to this number 16. Now there are 16 mantras in the Purusha Sukta. Now what is this symbolism? Now Bhagwan is described as Shodasha Kala Purusha. We all know that there are Shodasha Kalas of the moon from Amavasya to Paurnima, and they all have names, and these names have been so nicely described in this shloka which describe the Shodasha Kalas of the moon. It says Shashini Chandrika Kantir Jyotsna Shri Preeti Revacha Angada Tatha Purna Purnamruta Shodasha Vaikala. So these are the names of the 16 kalas of the moon, and even Purusha has got 16 kalas. What are those 16 kalas? We will have a look at it. Now, we also heard of Shodashopachar Puja and Shodasha Sanskar. Shodashopachar Puja, some people use Purusha Sukta in the daily puja in their homes, and with each of the mantras of Purusha Sukta, one upachar is done for the gods at home. So that is how Shodashopachar Puja is done. Now also there is Shodasha Sanskar. All human beings undergo 16 sanskars from Garbhadan to Antyeshti. Now Bhagwan Narayana, it says, he is the controller, Niyamaka of 16 kalas. The first 15 kalas are said to be Jada in nature. And the 16th kala is the Jiva. So if the Jiva has to get mukti, he has to break through the 15 Jada kalas. And he is bound by these 15 Jada kalas. Only then he goes towards moksha or mukti. So the 15 Jada kalas are there, and there is one Jiva kala. Now the Purusha, he is the controller of all. Now the Purusha, as the controller of the first 15 Jada kalas, is praised in the Purusha Sukta in the Anushtup Chanda, in the first 15 mantras. Now why? We will see this. In his role as the controller of the 16th kala, that is a Jiva, he is praised in the Trishtup Chanda. As I said, we'll have a look at it. Firstly, we will see what is this Anushtup Chanda and what is Trishtup Chanda. Now, Anushtup Chanda is basically 4 lines of 8 syllables each. So, it is very commonly we know Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varanane. If you count, there are 8 syllables in each of the lines. So, this is exactly what Anushtup Chanda is. Now, Anushtup Chanda is of 8 syllables, and it is used for the 15 Jada kalas in the first 15 mantra of Purusha Sukta, because the Jada Prakriti has got 8 facets. And where is this written? It is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, where exactly is this? We'll come to that. Bhumira po nalo vayu kham mano buddhi revacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtadha. So the Jada Prakriti is controlled, has got 8 facets, as mentioned in this here. The 16th kala is Jiva, which manifests through 11 entities. Now the Jiva manifests through 10 indriyas, that is 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, and 1 manas. Manas is supposed to be the king of the indriyas. In the Vibhuti Yoga, Bhagavan Krishna says, Indriyanam manas chasmi. So it is a controller of all these indriyas itself. It is Indra in a sense. So the last mantra is in Trishtup Chanda. Why is it in Trishtup Chanda? Because the Trishtup Chanda is 4 lines of 11 syllables each. Now, as an example of the Trishtup Chanda, we all know, or those who have read the Bhagavad Gita would know, Nabhas Prusham Deeptam Aneka Varnam Vyaptananam Deepta Vishala Netram Drashtva Hitvam Pravyathitantaratma Dhrutim Navindami Shamam Cha Vishnu. If you count each of the lines, there are 11 syllables each in this. So, Ekadasha Jiva Kala, it operates through Ekadasha entities. That is how Trishtup Chanda is used only in the 16th mantra of the Purusha Sukta. Now, what you will say, what about the Yajurveda? That is, they have got 18, Shukla Yajurveda. So, 17th mantra, in the Krishna Yajurveda, there are 18 mantras. So, 17th mantra is for the Shri Tattva, and 18th mantra in praise of the Purushottama Tattva. Now, they are also in Trishtup Chanda, because both Lakshmi and Purushottama, they also manifest through Ekadasha Tattvas. Now, let us dive into the Purusha Sukta. सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुष सहस्राक्ष सहस्रपात् स भूमिं विश्वतो वृत्वा अत्यतिष्ठद्दशाङ्गुलम्. Now, since I have not been able to hold my breath, I have done pada part. I have said Vrutva Atyatishthad If I could hold my breath, I would have said it like Samhita part. So, excuse me for that. Now, let us see what this actually means. First, we'll see on the face value what the words mean, what the meaning is on the face value. Then we will try to analyze what it really means. Now, Sahasra means 1,000. Shirsha is head. Purusha, as we have deliberated on it, is the universal being. Aksha is eye. Path, a feet. Saha is he. Bhumim, earth. It has got many meanings, but I'm just giving the face value. Bhumi is earth. Vishwatas, from all sides, everywhere, all around, universally. That is Vishwatas. Vruta, surrounding. Vruta comes from Vruta, surrounding, enclosing. Ati, overstep, go beyond. Atikraman. So it comes from Ati, to go beyond, crossover. Then Stha. Stha means to stand firmly. Tishtha comes from Stha, from the root Stha. Dasha, 10, and it also means many other things. Angula. Angula means finger, direction, and it could also mean dimension. For those people who understand coordinate geometry, we have got X, Y, and Z axis. So it could also mean a dimension. So Angula means all that. The Purusha, so the bare bones meaning of this mantra is the Purusha with 1,000 heads, 1,000 eyes, and 1,000 feet, envelops the universe from all sides and extends beyond in 10 directions, 10 fingers, 10 dimensions. Now, here, 1,000 signifies innumerable, which points to the omnipresence of the Purusha. It is not to be literal. Now, I am going into the analysis. Sahasra does not exactly mean 1,000 and not 999 or 1,001. That is not the idea here. It means many, many. Okay, it just shows the omnipresence of the Purusha. He pervades each part of the creation, transcends it, and extends beyond by 10 angula. So it's bigger than his creation itself. So, or it also means he extends in 10 dimensions, 10 directions. What is the difference? We'll see once we come to this detailed analysis as we go along. Now, this is the literal word meaning, but there is a deeper and subtle thought that is being conveyed here. This is not the description of a gross object or a person, but a beautiful concept that is being put across. The expression Sahasra is used as a metaphor and not to be taken in the literal sense. It means innumerable things, entire, all, infinite. The word Sahasra means even the body parts, the word Sahasra is a metaphor, and even the body parts, Shirsha, Aksha, Pada, they are also metaphors. And to indicate that the Purusha is an all encompassing aggregation of all beings. Now, the head, let's see the metaphor. The head, the eyes, and the feet are metaphors which mean the head represents Sankalpa, Shirsha, Buddhi, that indicates Sankalpa. Now, Aksha indicates darshana, vision, understanding, closing the loop. It's not only a vision of what should be or what should not be. As you are doing an action, it needs to be continuously corrected. Closed loop systems. So, like that, with darshana, the Aksha is indicative of that. And Vyavahara, and once you have made a sankalpa, you have visualized everything, then it has to be put into action. Vyavahara, path, feet, is an indication, is indicative of the Vyavahara. So that is how all activities in our human life also take place. We think with our, we make a sankalpa with our buddhi. We have, uh, faculties like chitta, mana, various things with which we visualize and physical eyes to see, control a physical activity, close the loop, and physical feet. Feet means the physical effort with which we carry out the actions. So this is exactly the three things that are required for any creation, for any work. So the first three organs mentioned here are very indicative of this. This means that all our resolves, understandings, and actions happen and are possible only because of the very presence of the Purusha. If the Purusha is not there, none of this would be possible. We owe it all to the Purusha. Now, this is underlined in the advice given by Bhagavan Sri Krishna to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita when he says, Nimitta Matra Bhavasavya Sachin. So, all this is possible because the Purusha is there. We are using all these faculties which are actually the faculties of the Purusha himself. Now, the word path, okay, the, word the word the word path, it means also refers to the sun, who is the source of all energy. So it also refers to the rays of the sun. That is another dimension of this shloka. Now, Sahasraksha means that nothing in the universe can miss his attention. And actually, everything happens in this universe only because he is the conscious observer. If he were not to be observing, then we would not, nothing would happen in the universe. Now, this is linked to a very interesting phenomena in quantum mechanics called the measurement problem. Now, let us take this diversion to quantum mechanics and let us see what this is. Now, even inert matter sometimes behave differently in the presence of an observer. Now, there is a very famous experiment called the double slit experiment. First, let us understand what happened in this experiment and then relate it to the Purusha. Now, before I explain this experiment, what comes to my mind is when we were small, for various occasions at home, we have seen people using a roller filled with rangoli. So it was pulled, and as the roller rolled on the ground, the rangoli powder which is filled in that roller, it made very beautiful patterns depending on what was there on the roller. So the experiment which I'm going to explain is called the Young's double slit experiment. It is something like this rangoli, but it is an atomic rangoli, I'll put it. Now, let us see what it is. In the first picture here, what do we see? We see a screen, and in front of it is a board having two parallel slits. Now, a monochromatic, that is single color light, is flashed on the two slits. And what do we expect to find? We expect to find two bright patches on the screen behind. Now, why monochromatic? We will leave that for the physics, geeks. We will not go into it. But if I flash a light, even if it is monochromatic, I should get two patches of light like this. But then there is a surprise. when this experiment was done, what did they find? They found that there were no two patches of light, there were multiple patches of light, two big ones and fainter and smaller ones on either side. Now, they applied their minds to it. They said, okay, light travels as waves. There are many waves. So, like if I drop a stone in a pond, I get circular ripples in the pond. If I drop two stones, I'll get two sets of circles, and both of them will interact with each other. In some places, there will be destruction, some places, there will be enhancement. So, this is exactly what is happening with this light. And they say, this is what is happening here. Wonderful. So they said wave nature, this explains why the slit is not showing as we expected. But then somebody said, let us play atomic rangoli. So he said, okay, let us have two slits and now let us fire particles in it. Now when I have fire particles at it, I should get only two patches like this because all this explanation of wave theory is bunkum. So he says, but then what happens? Even with the results, I get something like this, isn't it? So this is quite confusing. This is what I said earlier, dual nature of matter. Matter behaves like wave particle. And okay, he said, fine, we'll come to that later. But somebody said, what exactly is happening here? To understand that, he said, let us do one thing. Let us put a Geiger counter here and near the slits. And as soon as the Geiger counter was put there, they immediately found that instead of multiple patches like this, they found two neat little patches here. So what has happened? We are surprised again. Nothing has changed. Only what has come is there is only an observer who has come. Now, an observer has come here and he has changed the result of the experiment. Now, this is the measurement problem. So, the atom or the electron, etc., is can you say it is here, or it is there? No, it is in a fuzzy state. It could be anywhere as per quantum mechanics till you fix it. Okay, and depending on where you fix it, it will be there. We'll see a small video clip. I thought probably he will explain it a little better than what I have done. So let us see this clip.
Quantum mechanics shows us that particles like photons, electrons, and even atoms are in superposition, meaning they can exist in different states and even multiple places at the same time. They are thought to be nothing more than waves of probabilities until the moment that they are measured. This measurement collapses the probability wave of the particle such that it then becomes a distinct particle with distinct properties. One interpretation of this phenomenon is that the measurement being made requires a measurer or a conscious observer. If this is correct, then it implies that consciousness has to be an integral part of creating the world that we observe. Could this consciousness then be required for creating reality? Does this mean that there would be no reality without consciousness, implying the universe would not exist unless there was someone to observe it? That the atom, when it is not measured, is not distinct. It is a wave of probabilities, meaning it can potentially be at various places at the same time with various properties. Each of these places and properties has a probability associated with it. That's why there's a probability wave pattern for these particles. However, as soon as the particle is measured, this probability wave collapses and it becomes a distinct particle with distinct properties and position. But what is measurement after all? Does measurement take place at the instrument that measures it? Does it take place when the instrument's measurement is recorded in its digital memory? Does it take place when a human eye sees the results? Does it take place when my brain interprets the result? Or does it happen somewhere in between? Does measurement necessarily require consciousness? This is called the measurement problem of quantum mechanics. The problem is we don't know, and this has been debated for years. Physicists do not universally agree on a resolution to this problem.
So when Hiranyakashipu kicked and broke the pillar, what actually happened was the probability wave of Narayana collapsed and he emerged as Narasimha. The Purusha, with his Sahasra Aksha, is a universal observer. Everything in the universe is determined by his very presence. This concept is so nicely put across in our Purana, which says that the universe comes into existence only when Mahavishnu is awake, and it dissolves when he goes into Yoga Nidra. Now, there was a very interesting question asked by a member of the audience when a lecture on a similar topic was given by Swami Sarva Priyananda. I will paraphrase that question. And he says, instead of using a monochromatic light or Jad particles, he says, what happens if Jiva, now in Dvaita philosophy, Jiva is Anadi Ananta, and it is not a creation of matter which happens there. Jiva is there as Anadi Ananta, and innumerable Jivas are there. He says, what if instead of particles we shoot Jiva through this double slit? Now, the presence of the Purusha or the observer, will it decide the destiny of each of the jiva as the particles in the double slit experiment? This was the question which the gentleman asked. Now, doesn't that truly explain the role of the Purusha as the Ishwara or the controller in our lives? Now, Dr. Bannanje Govindacharya, he says very nicely in Kannada. I know many of you may not understand Kannada, but some of you may. So I have got that quote because it is very nice. I'll translate it for you all. He says, Avalokana maduva lochanave illadiddare lokave illa. So जिसका अवलोकन ईश्वर से होता है उसे लोक कहते हैं, भूलोक, दिस लोक, दैट लोक. That is called loka because somebody is doing avalokana. So if there is nobody doing avalokana, if the Purusha is not there, there is no loka also. The idea that the whole universe is dependent on only on this Purusha is brought out in a very nice, beautiful Hindi song, तेरी आंखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है. It is a little context is different, and first let us enjoy the song. We must end on a lighter note at the end of the session, and then I will tell an interesting anecdote with this song and why I chose it.
तेरी आँखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है, तेरी आँखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है. ये उठे सुबह चले, ये झुके शाम ढले, मेरा जीना मेरा मरना इन्हीं पलकों के तले. तेरी आँखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है. जमाने की तस्वीर है, चाहत के काजल से लिखी हुई मेरी तकदीर है. ओ दिन में मेरे आने वाले जमाने की तस्वीर है. ये उठे सुबह चले, ये झुके शाम ढले, मेरा जीना मेरा मरना इन्हीं पलकों के तले. तेरी आँखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है.
So the context matters, the words are same. You remove Asha Parekh and Sunil Dutt, Narayana and yourself, you will see the meaning of this song. And to support my, this statement here, I'll give a brief background of this. This is from a film called Chirag, and the director was Raj Khosla. Now, he was, impressed by a line, "Teri aankhon ke siwa duniya mein rakha kya hai," from a ghazal of Faiz Ahmad Faiz. मेरे महबूब मुझसे पहले सी मोहब्बत न मान. So that is the ghazal, and he was impressed by it. He saw it in a different light. So he told Majru Sultanpuri, I see these words in a different light. I want you to have this in the song. And Majru didn't want to use the words of somebody else. But when he insisted and explained him a different context, so Majru Sultanpuri took the royalty rights, paid money to Faiz Ahmad Faiz, and used this one line in this song which you just heard. So the context there was different. Raj Khosla understood it differently. I understand it differently. So तेरी आंखों के सिवा दुनिया में रखा क्या है is true for Narayana. Without him, the dunya won't be there. So that with that I come to the end of today's session, and pranam. Thank you so much.